Hey, what's up guys? Ash here. Today we're going to be going over upgrading weapons at the Workbench. I'm starting with this video because the further I delve into crafting, the more I realize it's going to need a dedicated video. So I'm making this upgrading guide separately. So let's hop right into it. This is a new online file for me. And as you can see, the Workbench is actually given to you in Chapter 2.1. And it's important to note that from here on, you can upgrade any gear that you like, but I do think that upgrading gear should not be started until about mid-game, which is roughly level 30. As you progress through the game, you'll constantly be finding new gear and equipment, and so unless a very good piece of legendary gear comes forward that you think you might keep a while, I'm not sure that upgrading is worth it until that point. Even worse, the rarity of the item will determine the fiber/metal part that you'll need. So an example, let's take Albus's Butcher's Magenta Carbon Blade, which is required level of 5. Notice that it's going to require a blue magenta upgraded metal part, or what would be fiber. If you wanted to upgrade your legendary here, it will take an indigo upgraded fiber, which is incredibly difficult to obtain in the beginning of the game. So it kind of locks you out of upgrading, early on, even to begin with. But as we look at the green item here, you'll see blue upgraded metal parts. So the item that you're going to need to upgrade does correspond to, the rarity of the item, right? But, why would you upgrade a green when you're just going to get a blue? Why would you upgrade a blue if you're just going to get a new blue? And then would you want to upgrade a legendary? Sure. Do you have indigo upgraded fibers or metal parts? Probably not until a little bit later, roughly mid-game. Speaking of which, there are two primary resources for upgrading gear. The first is Primal Crystals, and then of course fiber and metal parts. The first resource, Primal Crystals, have 7 different elements and will always correspond with a specific set of gear. So for example, Frost will always be used for upgrading jackets, training uniforms, and coats. So if we do a search on jackets here, Ben's suit jacket, Primal Frost, Hansen's suit jacket, Primal Frost, Golden Leather jacket, Primal Frost, or if you were to go into training uniforms that Irene and Litan would use, the Ascending Dragon Tattoo uniform, which you find from Zhao Zai, Primal Frost, Golden Leather uniform, Primal Frost, and of course this feeds into coats as well. So for Anne, this Mist Guardian Flashlight Black Iron Leather coat, Primal Frost, Skull Coat of Strategist, Primal Frost, etc., etc., even the Monster Hunter Coast. So as a whole, this covers the body armor piece, and each one of the primals covers something similar to this. So as another example, if you were to do sneakers, shoes, and boots, it will always be a Primal Storm. The Dragon Tattoo leather sneakers, which come from Zhao Zai, the crafted golden leather sneakers. You can look at the shoes for Heizing and Giselle. Hansen's dress shoes, Primal Storm. Her Monster Hunter shoes, Primal Storm. And then, of course, if you do boots, for whatever reason you would need, like for Elisa here, Black Iron Flash Boots, Twilight Collector, Primal Storm. So I have a graph here that's going to show you, Primal Frost is all your jackets, training uniforms, and coats. Your storms will be sneakers, shoes, and boots. Your Primal Power will actually be all of Ray's sprays, wrist guards, bracelets, and rings. Primal Flame will be your swords and two-handed swords, so Albus and Elisa. Primal Green will be specific to just battle gloves. And Primal Mist, probably the rarest of all of the primals, will be divided specifically into just bangles. And then finally with Primal Flash, you'll have sniper rifles, so if you want to check just, Giselle, then obviously all of her gearing will require Primal Flash. That's also shared with Machine Pistols for Hei Zing. So you can see, he also uses Primal Flash. And then finally, probably one of the more rare is that for Kylie, the multi-purpose supporting device. Let me just do Mono and VB. You can see it's Primal Flash. So each element is very specific to either a body part, body piece, or weapon or accessory. And the second resource will be upgraded fiber and upgraded metal parts, which you can find under the item crafting tab into the sub tab of material. You can do upgraded fiber and then list specifically by fiber. So you'll notice here it starts with the green, which is upgraded fiber. There is no recipe for just making the upgraded fiber on its own. So upgraded fiber turns into blue upgraded fiber, which turns into magenta upgraded fiber, which then turns into indigo upgraded fiber. And then of course for the upgraded metal parts, you can sub-tab this into parts. And similarly, there is no recipe for just the upgraded metal parts. But then it goes into blue upgraded metal parts, magenta upgraded parts, and then indigo metal parts. Right, so as a general rule of thumb, for weapons and accessories, we'll take metal parts, and then armor will take fiber. So for example, if we do raised spray, metal parts, Elisa's greatsword, metal parts, gun, metal parts, etc. Accessories, same thing, bracelets, metal parts, rings, metal parts, and then of course armor will be, your fibers, fiber. There is small exceptions to this. So for example, the battle gloves will be fiber for some odd reason. I don't know why they did this. I would have preferred they just kept it to weapons and accessories are metal parts and armor is fiber, but they didn't. Another exception I think is the wrist guards. The wrist guards count as metal parts. So with the exception of those two, that's all you really need to remember. And in theory, this means that if you're upgrading everything equally, you should actually need more fiber for all of your armor pieces over metal parts. However, I recommend upgrading your weapons first because you can always deal damage, you can always heal, but you can't always take damage, and preferably offense over defense. So I do really encourage people to upgrade their weapons first. And so you may find that you're going to need more metal parts than fiber. Fiber is more a late game thing where you're redesigning your entire armor kit and everyone's got +9. Alright, so let's take a quick look at where you can find both of these resources. For Primal Crystals, you can technically buy the primals from Maximilian Miles, who runs the junk shop. And it's probably the first person you'll see when going to Shooter Street. At first glance, you don't really notice he has anything worthwhile, but he does in fact sell the primals, and I'm sure that as you progress with his reputation, I'm just friendly with him, it'll unlock, additional stuff. So, if you're the basic reputation, like neutral or whatever it is, you might just have the whites. Since I'm friendly, I guess he unlocked a few of the greens. If you go to the next one, honored, maybe he unlocks blues. And of course, you do get a discount, which you can see up here. And that can be affected by your jurisdiction levels, your reputation with them, etc., etc. And then, of course, you can also buy parts here for your upgrading. So notice he has upgraded metal parts, and it's only 18 vil. It's really not too bad of a deal. And you can see this is with friendly reputation. He is selling the white and the blue versions of the upgraded metal parts. So that's pretty cool. And of course, the next goods, this may rotate out what you can see. So, if you were to wait 27 minutes here, then he might have, a different set of items that you can actually buy. You can also get some of the metal parts from defeating robotic enemies. So if you go and you check your troublemaker list over into the machines, let's just take Bicrons for example. If you look at their drop table, you'll see, you know, they have a 10% chance to drop up regular white upgraded metal parts. They have a 6% chance to drop, you know, the green version. They have a 3% chance to drop the, you know, blue version, and so on and so forth. And you'll find it all throughout here. As you get into the higher levels with the Destrons and such, they're more related to black iron parts, and that's a totally different subject. But let's go and buy some random items and salvage them, just so you guys can get an idea of how I generally get my my parts, which is really salvaging. So, but just for purpose sake, let's do you know, this level 5 sword, level 20 sword, level 5 glove, level 50 glove, sniper rifle, you know, and just to get like a rough idea. We'll buy all that, and then to get a kind of bigger pool, let's go ahead and grab some armor too. So let's say here, you know, you, sure, and buy all these. So once you actually have these items and you're clear to salvage them, you're going to go over to the workbench over here, and salvaging and extraction are going to be a separate guide as well. But just for the purposes of this. So you can see almost everything here on this list is, actually no, there are a few armor pieces here. So we'll just go through a few real quick. So this is the combat gloves, which are level 50. If you salvage them, we're going to get some upgraded fiber right there. And you're going to get these primals, right? Some primal power, primal flash. We do this rifle, which is also level 50. Again, upgraded metal parts. We did end up getting a black iron part. Let's do this purple level 30 rifle, and you can see purple upgraded metal parts. So, you know, you can get a rough idea. Usually towards the end of the game or after a mission, if you don't find any gear that you particularly like, you can just do a salvage all, and then you're going to get this massive list of stuff. But, you know, particular to this guide, you can see the fiber metal parts, you know, even the magenta metal parts. You can see some primals written into here, right? So just to give you a rough idea of what it would be like after a mission. I don't recommend buying them and then salvaging them, but, you know, I don't know. If you need it, you need it. Alright, so let's do an actual upgrade from rank 0 to 9 just so that you guys can see it. Important to note that based on what you're upgrading is the stat you're going to get. So generally, you know, for weapons, you're going to increase your attack power. Like for this boom spray, it's going to go from 500 to 517 from rank 0 to rank 1. You know, if you do armor, it's going to go 370 to 386. If you do, let's say, rings, you'll do resistance, right? And if you do bracelets, you'll do health. So it's whatever the primary stat and purpose of the gear that you're upgrading is. For today's purposes, we're going to go ahead and do Ray's Hansen suit of Twilight Collector. And so very important to note that the amount upgraded will always be the same as the base value. So, for example, this armor is going up by 16 points, and there will be 9 upgrades for a total of 144 on top of your current value. So if the armor is 370, then your total amount returned after upgrading to rank 9 will be 514. This does include if you get bonuses, and we'll let's see if we can grab a bonus here. So we're gonna go ahead and click upgrade once you have all the pieces. Notice that it went, you know, up 1 plus 1. So now this is a Hansen suit jacket of Twilight Collector plus 1. And again, plus 2, plus 3, hoping to get a bonus here, plus 4, plus 5. They're not going to give me the bonus because I'm trying to do this in a live feed. Come on, plus 2. Alright, well, they didn't give me the bonus, but you can get a plus 2, and very rarely you can also get a plus 3, which essentially skips, you know, that amount of ranks. So if you're at rank 1 and you get a plus 3, you can go straight to rank 4. But remember that I mentioned that it would go from 370 to 514. That's simply the base value of the upgrade, which was 16 times 9 ranks, or 144. that's about it, really. I don't think there's going to be more than that. I think this will certainly help mid to late game players, and I think that, as a newer player, you don't need to worry about this yet, but I would return to this when you start getting gear that you really want to keep and you really want to upgrade. Anyway, that's all for this video, guys. Appreciate you guys watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and until next time.